Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for these character sheets and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for more loot next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Roland and Mordecai from Borderlands. To be real, Lilith and Roland are more of a pair, but I've already built her. Check that out, top corner. She's kind of a monster, actually one of the highest damage characters I've ever made. But this is pair month, and Roland and Mordecai are buddies. They both get traumatized by Handsome Jack, or murdered. Spoilers, game's old though. Let's start off with Roland, because he doesn't stick around as long. First, we need to be good at weapons, shooting them. He's soldier, it's the most basic role, but basic can be fun, especially when basic gets a turret that does all the work for you, meaning you just get to put your feet up. Finally, we'll get some funky weapons with a little damage variety to spice up your life if that's what you're into. For stats, we're using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Dexterity will be number 1. If there are a million guns, you need to know how to shoot them. Intelligence next, some of those guns are kind of spacey. Constitution after that, Roland gets a few bulky abilities on the skill tree. We'll just chalk that up to having a higher con score than the other hunters. Follow that up with charisma. You're the leader of the bunch, they know you well. Strength is a bit low, you're not all that great with melee weapons, and we'll dump wisdom. You might think you needed to look down the sights, but Roland doesn't have enough perception to spot the literal writing on the wall. Roland is a human, which is good, because humans can get real good at shooting stuff at level 1. Sharpshooter lets you fire at max range without disadvantage. You can ignore all but full cover with ranged attacks, and take a -5 penalty to your attack rolls to add 10 to the damage rolls. There are no mandatory feats in D&D, but if you're playing an archer, grab Sharpshooter. Just do it. It's fun to be good at fighting stuff. Bump your dexterity and your constitution with your 2 free points. Take persuasion for your skill of choice to lead the next generation of vault hunters, and the soldier background for athletics and intimidation proficiency, and ground vehicle proficiency. But those don't show up in D&D all that often. Kinda wish they didn't show up in Borderlands all that often. I do not like the driving. We'll kick things off as a fighter, giving you 2 skills from the fighter list, like history and survival to hunt down vaults, and handle the harsh world of Pandora. Fighters get a fighting style. Archery gives you +2 to your attack rolls with ranged weapons, another pretty much mandatory option for an archer. I guess you could get rebellious and pick unarmed fighting, just to stick it to me for some reason. You also get second wind, letting you heal 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest. You don't have to be on the ground dying to use it, but that is a pretty good time to go for it. Second level fighters get action surge, letting you make 2 actions in 1 turn once per short rest, ratting a little extra tata when you need to. Third level fighters can choose a martial archetype. I wanted to go for arcane archer, but you can only use that with a bow, not a gun or a crossbow. So we'll grab samurai to regularly get a regenerating shield with fighting spirit. That'll give you advantage on attack rolls for the round and 5 temporary HP with 3 uses per long rest. Remember, temporary HP doesn't stack. They can only refresh, so wait till your shields are all the way down, then pop them back up. You can also grab another skill for free. Grab performance for some dance moves. 4th level fighters get an ability score improvement. Bump your dexterity to land sharp shots more regularly. 5th level fighters get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1, or up to 4 with an action surge, though you can't actually fire crossbows or guns without the loading property multiple times per round. Let's fix that. The fastest way would be with crossbow expert or the gunner feat at the start of the build, or grabbing it from 6th level fighter. But there's a better way for Roland, jumping to artificer. 1st level artificers don't get it just yet, getting magical tinkering instead, letting you put tiny magical effects in tiny non-magical items. Little smoke, a smell, general sci-fi playfulness, but spells are where it's really at. Cure wounds will let you heal a creature 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier as an action to do a little bit of the medic route if you're into that. Jump triples your jump distance for a minute, letting you get the space gravity on. Remember though, there's definitely gravity in space. Saying there isn't is a really weird reason to dislike a sci-fi property. For cantrips, message lets you whisper a message to a creature within 120 feet of you, and they can whisper back to do a little communication if you're playing co-op. Firebolt is a ranged spell attack. It deals 2d10 fire damage if you want to use a fire weapon. 2nd level artificers get the thing we came here for, infusions, special toys to make you better than the other hunters. Repeating shot lets you fire a weapon that has the loading property without worrying about the loading property. It's magical in terms of overcoming resistances and has +1 to the attack and damage rolls. The ammo also regenerates, so you never run out. If you don't want to go down the regenerating ammo skill tree, enhanced weapon adds 1 to the attack and damage rolls of a weapon and makes it magical without doing the other stuff. Eventually it gets to be +2, where a repeating shot doesn't. Enhanced defense adds 1 to your AC with a set of armor or a shield. I think Roland generally keeps it light, but that's what studded leather is for. Finally, a bag of holding can hold way more loot. You have to save a few claptraps to expand your inventory, but it's worth it, I guess. 3rd level artificers can choose a specialty. Artillerists get an eldritch cannon, setting up a turret that's small or tiny. I think this is the first character where I want it to be small instead instead of tiny, it can show up in one of 3 ways. A force ballista shoots a ranged spell attack as a bonus action, it deals 2d8 force damage and pushes a creature back when it hits. It could also be a flamethrower, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot cube, dealing 2d8 fire damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. Or you could make a protector that gives friendly creatures near it temporary HP equal to 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier. The flamethrower is really the only one Roland doesn't do. If you want to be the medic tent, go protector. If you want to shoot stuff with it, ballista is the way to go. You also get some free spells like shield to add 5 to your AC as a reaction for another option to keep the bullets from hitting you. This shield is like a shield. 4th level artificers get another ability score improvement, letting you cap off your dexterity modifier as quickly as possible to make your guns shoot better while your turret is reloading. 5th level artillerists get an arcane firearm, letting you add a d8 of extra damage to a spell attacks cast out of it, making spells like Scorching Ray deal a little more damage. Scorching Ray is a spell you get for free, launching 3 fireballs that deal 2d6 fire damage each. You can hit one target or multiple. The d8 is only added to one such attack, but that's still a bit of extra oomph. You also get Shatter for free, forcing a Constitution saving throw on creatures in a 10-foot radius, dealing 3d8 fire damage to those that fail. Inorganics have disadvantage on the saving throw, so it's much better at handling mechs with some explosive rounds. 6th level artillerists get Tool Expertise, doubling your proficiency bonus to checks with tools you're proficient with. That's woodcarvers, thieves, and tinkerers if you were wondering. Unfortunately, vehicles are a separate thing, but I think they should count as options for tool proficiency, so they do in my game. Probably not your DM though. You also get 2 more infusions. Resistant Armor gives a creature resistance to acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic, poison, psychic, radiant, or thunder damage while wearing it. The shield might not be as good, but some elemental resistances can pay off big if you know what you're going to be fighting. Spell Refueling Ring lets you recover a spell of 3rd level or lower automatically, giving you some more ammo for your incendiary weapon, which we'll get later. 7th level artillerists get a Flash of Genius, letting you add your intelligence modifier to a skill check, attack roll, or saving throw of a creature within 30 feet of you, an amount of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier. It's a great way to make intelligence a leadership ability. Speaking of, 8th level artificers get another ability score improvement. More intelligence will make your turret better and help your leadership from Flash of Genius. It's a pretty good investment. 9th level artificers can learn 3rd level spells, and the best way to get elemental weapons of Borderlands into D&D is a spell called Elemental Weapon. That adds 1 to the attack rolls of a weapon, makes it magical in terms of overcoming resistances, and adds a d4 of acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage to each attack for an hour, depending on your concentration. Acid is caustic, fire is fire, lightning is shock, thunder is explosive. I don't need to have slag weapons because Roland isn't playable in Borderlands 2, go me. You also get Fireball free from artillerists, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 20-foot radius sphere, dealing 8d6 fire damage to those that fail, and half as much to those that succeed, giving you a grenade or a missile depending on the flavor you prefer. You also get an explosive turret, adding an extra d8 of damage to your turret's damaging options, and you can make it explode, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures within 20 feet of it, dealing 3d8 force damage to those that fail. Considering you could just deal 3d8 force damage with a ballista shot, I see no reason to blow it up early. 10th level artificers are magical item adepts, letting you tune up to 4 magical items at once, and you get 2 more infusions. Helm of Awareness makes you immune to being surprised and gives you advantage on initiative rolls, letting you see the enemy on your heads up display. Boots of Striding and Springing triple your jump distance and stop you from being encumbered, which means not only moon jumps, it also means unlimited loot, baby! Or at least, more loot. 11th level artificers get spell storing item, letting you put a spell of 2nd level or lower into an item, then creatures can cast that spell out of that item using your intelligence modifier, an amount of times equal to double your intelligence modifier. Throw a Scorching Ray into something and give another Vault Hunter a very solid incendiary weapon. Might as well also scoop up haste, doubling your movement speed, giving you +2 to your AC, advantage on dexterity saving throws, and an extra action to dash, disengage, hide, use an object, or make 1 more attack. These boosts all last for a minute depending on your concentration. After that, you need to take a round off of actions and reactions, just kind of calm down a little bit. 12th level artificers can make that more solid with another ability score improvement, bump your intelligence modifier up again, and also make your turret and flashes of genius better. Why not? 13th level artificers can learn 4th level spells. Stone Skin gives a creature resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for up to an hour depending on your concentration. Eventually, Roland gets some damage resistance, but it's pretty deep in the medic tree. To be honest, that's not my favorite, but I never really did co-op. You need friends for co-op. 14th level artificers are magical item savants, letting you tune up to 5 magical items at once, and you can grab 2 more beefy ones. Amulet of Health will set your constitution to 19, basically giving you 38 extra HP at this point. Ring of Protection adds 1 to your AC and saving throws, just keeping you a little bit safer. Our capstone is the 15th level of Artillerist for Fortified Position, giving your allies within 10 feet of your Eldritch Cannon half cover, +2 to their AC and dexterity saving throws, and you could summon 2 turrets and fire them both at the same time. Just think of it as shooting extra fast and enjoy the free cover cover you can provide for yourself. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're really good at shooting people with sharp shots that have a +9 modifier and deal +16 damage each, and 2 Eldritch Cannon shots as a bonus action that deal 3d8 force damage each. You're also great at getting to cover, with 24 AC after you use haste, fortified position, enhanced defense, and ring of protection. Finally, you can have one of your turrets provide constantly regenerating health and heal people with upcasted cure wounds to be a medic. For weaknesses, multi-classing got a little messy for that turret, and that means we couldn't cap off your intelligence modifier. Well, we could, but then we couldn't cap off your dexterity modifier. Basically, you just don't get all the ability scores I'd like. Samurai's Fighting Spirit also only works on weapon attacks, not spell attacks like Scorching Ray or your turret. Also, both the turret and Fighting Spirit use your bonus action. It's not the cleanest combo. Finally, low wisdom is rough. Helm of Awareness should help you with low passive perception, but Hold Person and Charm Person will still mess you up. Thankfully, those have set ranges, and you'll take out anyone from a range. It might be better if you're rolling with another hunter who has Eagle Eyes or Hawk Eyes.
You love that bird, don't you? You know what? Take the bird.
Hey! Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, I'm not going to plan things. We're just going to fly by the seat of our pants. Really wing it, you know? Bird. Second, we'll stay socially distant. Sniping is the only viable hunting style as we enter year 3 of the Panera Bread. Finally, we'll get some hammers. Not that Mordecai uses a warhammer, he's just a hammer fan. A fanner of hammers. For Zats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll stats if you want, just keep those multi-classing minimums in mind. Dexterity will be number 1. Like your soldier buddy, you do a lot of shooting. It's an FPS. What do you expect? A berserker? Wisdom next, you're good friends with animals and have to see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's the sugar. Constitution after that, Pandora sucks, but it sucks less with a decent number of hit points. Follow that up with charisma. Mordecai is pretty likable when his bust buddy is still alive, and after that, he's a horrifying murder man with an unquenchable thirst for vengeance. That's also charisma. Intelligence is a bit low. You open up a vault without realizing there isn't treasure in it. Well, there's a big monster, but then worse loot than anything you've found already. We'll jump strength though. You just don't really need it for anything. Mordecai is a human. At least he has the same number of fingers that humans do, so we'll call him a human. If sharpshooter is a good feat for a soldier, it's a great feat for a sniper. Letting you fire at maximum range without disadvantage, ignore all but full cover, and you can take a -5 penalty to your attack rolls, add 10 to the damage rolls. That ought to make the heads explode. Bump your dexterity and your constitution with your 2 free points, take animal handling for your skill of choice, and the Vault Hunter background for medicine and persuasion. It's actually a custom background. Those are just the skills I want. For 4 more skills I want, check things off as a rogue. For skills like athletics, stealth, perception, and sleight of hand. You can get better at 2 of them with expertise, doubling your proficiency bonus with them. I'd go for animal handling and perception so that you can see better from the crow's nest and get along better with the crows. Sneak attack will let you enjoy some more headshot damage by adding a d6 of damage to your ranged or finesse weapon attacks when you have an ally within 5 feet of the target, or advantage on the roll. We'll get some really easy ways to do both of those things as the build goes on, which means headshots are the only shots you need. And the vaccine, please go get it if you can. Second level rogues get cunning action, letting you dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action, helping you sprint up to the good sniping spots a little bit faster. Third level rogues get better cunning action, at least for snipers, with steady aim, letting you give yourself advantage on an attack roll as a bonus action as long as you haven't moved that turn. That's guaranteed sneak attack and better odds to land your sharpshooter hits. And since your sneak attack is dealing 2d6, this is some of the best damage you can do at level 3. You also get to choose a roguish archetype, and scouts are great at living in the nightmare sci-fi wastelands. You get proficiency with survival and nature skills, as well as expertise in both skills right away. You're also a skirmisher, letting you move half your movement speed as a reaction after an enemy creature ends their turn within 5 feet of you. Melee isn't your thing, really. That's the next sniper's thing. That ability score is looking really tasty, but I think first level of ranger is looking tastier. Maybe the first time anyone has said that. You get another skill like investigation, another expertise skill with canny. I'll go for stealth to help get hidden for a sneak attack, and favored foe, a type of enemy to get advantage on tracking. Humanoids are generally a good option. You get to choose 2 types, but maybe you want to go beasts for skags and rocks. Second level rangers get a fighting style. Archery is still the way to go. +2 to your attack rolls with ranged weapons to make sure you don't miss your sharp shots. You also learn ranger spells like Hunter's Mark, letting you pick a creature to deal an extra d6 of damage to with your weapon attacks for an hour depending on your concentration. You also get advantage on checks to track them for a little red dot on your map that doesn't go away. Jump triples your jump distance for a minute to give you a space jump. I'm not grabbing animal friendship or beast bond because honestly, your animal handling is high enough. I know some of you hate jump though, so swap those in if you like. Or do anything else you want. I can't tell you what to do. Third level rangers can get an automatic animal companion anyway with Beastmaster Conclave and a primal companion. They got added in Tasha's, by the way. Beast of the Sky is definitely the bloodiest of wings, with 13 plus your proficiency bonus in AC, 4 times your ranger level plus 4 in HP, and 60 feet of flying speed. Its attacks deal 1d4 plus 3 plus your proficiency bonus in sleight slashing damage, and it can fly by to ignore opportunity attacks. If you don't tell it what to do, it's just going to dodge, so use your bonus action to make it attack, or use it for steady aim. It's kind of fun that this build ends up getting to do whichever one of the 3 skill trees it wants: Sniper, Bird Friend, or Revolver. For the Revolver though, we need to hit level 4 for an ability score improvement, but actually for a feat. The Gunner or Crossbow Expert feat, specifically depending on if your DM has guns in their setting. Since I don't know, I'm gonna go with Crossbow Expert. That's the one in the graphics. I like it better. Both feats let you ignore the loading property with their respective weapons and fire them within melee range without disadvantage. Gunner also gives you firearm proficiency and +1 to dexterity, but Crossbow Expert lets you make an attack with a hand crossbow as a bonus action to really fan the hammer. It's important to grab these before you hit level 5 of Ranger, where you'll get extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks with your action instead of 1. Keep in mind, you can only make sneak attack once per round, but Hunter's Mark will apply to all of your weapon attacks. So does the 2nd level spell, Magic Weapon, which adds 1 to the attack and damage rolls of a weapon for an hour and makes it magical in terms of overcoming resistances. That should help you get through the hard scales of an alpha skag. 6th level Rangers get Roving, bumping your movement speed by 5 feet and giving you a climbing and swimming speed. Mixing that with Skirmisher and Cunning Action, it shouldn't be hard for you to get to the high ground. 7th level Beastmasters get Exceptional Training, making your beast's attacks magical in terms of overcoming resistances, maybe getting a little Iridian artifact to add some caustic damage to carve through armor. Damn, wouldn't it be cool if Bloodwing got all the elemental damage types, then got really huge, and you didn't have to murder them? 8th level Rangers get another ability score improvement. Wait, this is the first one we get to raise stats? Whoops. Bump your dexterity. Kind of embarrassing that the Sniper was the least accurate shooter in the group for the longest time. Sorry about that. 9th level Rangers can learn 3rd level spells like Elemental Weapon, letting you add a d4 of acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage to a weapon and give it +1 to its attack rolls. It also becomes magical in terms of overcoming resistances. Enjoy that extra damage to exploit vulnerabilities, though later we'll get a different concentration option for a weapon with a better fire rate. Adding elemental damage generally comes with a trade-off. 10th level Rangers get Tireless, letting you give yourself a d8 plus your wisdom modifier in temporary HP as an action and amount of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus. Just get behind cover and let your shields recover. You also get to remove a level of exhaustion each short rest, so don't be too worried if you need to push a little harder. To get to cover better, Nature's Veil lets you turn invisible as a bonus action until the start of your next turn, a number of times per long rest equal to your proficiency bonus. It's also a great way to activate sneak attack. You're getting a lot of those. 11th level Beastmasters get Bestial Fury, letting you command your beast to make 2 attacks instead of 1, so you can shoot someone twice with hefty sharp shots, then have Bloodwing dive in to hit twice as a bonus action. So now we have the capstone of the Scout Mordecai tree, which is weirdly less similar to the Scout Rogue archetype in D&D. 12th level Rangers get another ability score improvement, cap off your dexterity modifier for the most accurate shots possible. The new Tasha's Ranger stuff is almost all proficiency bonus based. It kind of pulls the need away from wisdom on a Ranger. It's an interesting direction, basically making it a little bit more of a flexible class. 13th level Rangers can learn 4th level spells. Freedom of movement makes a creature immune to anything that would slow them down. Paralyzation, restraint, difficult terrain, and you can even break out of non-magical shackles with 5 feet of movement to stop yourself from getting captured. The bandits seem a little cannibalistic, and you don't want to turn into a 12-piece meal. 14th level Rangers get Vanish, and since you already have Cunning Action, that means you only get immunity to being tracked by non-magical means. It's not great, but it can lead to some good stuff, like investing in the Gunslinger skill tree. 15th level Beastmaster Rangers can share spells, meaning the spells you use to buff yourself also buff your beast, which would be better if Rangers' best spells didn't just buff objects or weapons. This actually works better with multiclassing with another spellcaster, which we're not doing. 16th level Rangers get another ability score improvement. Why not get a bit of Constitution to help your concentration? You're about to get a very good concentration spell, because our capstone is the 17th level of Ranger, letting you learn 5th level spells like Swift Quiver. That lets you fire 2 attacks with a bonus action using ammunition from a quiver you choose, which means 4 attacks per round, like a 20th level fighter would have anyway. You can do this for a minute depending on your concentration. If revolvers are your favorite way to play Mordecai, I prefer the bird because I am not good at shooting. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you have a ton of skills from Rogue, Scout, and Ranger to get things done before you start fighting. You can also lay on heavy damage quickly from a distance, which is the safest way to fight. Finally, you've got a bunch of mobility options with Cunning Action and Roving to get you out of harm's way. For weaknesses, you have a lot of concentration spells that force you to pick and choose what you want to do. You also have too many bonus action options and only 1 bonus action per round. Finally, low strength could get you pushed around and thrown off cliffs. Thankfully, you'll be able to pick things off before they get to you. Have Mordecai hang in the back, Roland can provide support, and Lilith can absolutely destroy things. Really, all the team's missing is a tank, maybe someone built like a brick house. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We're making double videos every day this month. Join the Patreon for these character sheets and a whole bunch more. Sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.